Now I just recorded, so I started it. But prior to this, nothing is recorded. Okay. So basically, till now you have seen we can write the MapReduce code. We can do the processing of the data. MapReduce is a framework to process your data. The different file format, different compression, but everything was individual blocks. But now when look at this Hive and Pick, you will be able to correlate most of the things. So basically, Hive was developed at Facebook, used for majority of the Facebook jobs. So it basically gives you, as you can see, all your data into files only. We started with the relay files. We moved on to the relational word, and then again came back to the file word. So all your data is stored in the file, but now you are pretty much acquainted, and all your business features are pretty much acquainted with SQL kind of syntaxes. So it's difficult to tell them and make them understand the data in the file or make it readable for them. So Facebook came up with defining the relational structure on your files, and with the help of Hive, you can use your same old SQL syntax to query the files or to look into the files. So it supports all your major features what are supported by different SQL words, or like what is there for you, which are given by the relational word but on the files over there. So you can do partitioning, you can do clustering, you can define complex data types, you can do optimizations in the jobs and things like that. Everything is achievable with the help of Hive. So the problem was basically, although if you have to write the MapReduce code, definitely that could have been written to get these things. But again, you have to be familiar with Java, and then writing the code is little complex for same kind of mundane jobs like doing the joins, where clause kind of thing. You have to write the same code again and again and things like that. So, and then you have to do the optimizations on the code based on the different data which you are reading up and things like that. So the solution for that is Hive. So it's basically a system for managing and querying unstructured data as if it was structured. So data is lying in the file formats in some particular separators by some particular separator or things like that, and you can query the data with the help of SQL language. So before going ahead, let's look at this example. So I have if you remember, we ran a word count example in MapReduce, and there were written around 60 to 70 lines of code to just find out how many times different words are appearing in the file. The same thing can be achieved in Hive in just 2 lines. So this is your line 1. I could have combined these 2 lines in a single line. I just combine them, and this is your line 2. So don't worry about the complexity of this select query, but I just wanted to tell you how easier it becomes if we use Hive to look into your data. So basically what Hive does is it maintains the metadata on top of your data, and this metadata is maintained in something called hcatalog. So Hive maintains, so we have to just tell the metadata of your data. That metadata is stored into your hcatalog, and then that metadata is basically used to query your data. So here I'm defining the metadata for my data, that is create table with some particular definition how my data is defined in this file, and then I'm just looking into this data of this file and doing a query. So let me show you running it. Okay, so how to go to the Hive console? Here I don't know. Okay, so how to go to Hive console is just to type Hive and press print enter. This will take you to the Hive console. The machine is getting slow. It flows some other things. It can consume more than 1 or 2 GB of RAM.
Now, where do you run Hive from your local machine?
No, from the same putty. I've connected to the modernworks
Oh,
and
putty.
yeah,
Okay.
I just typed Hive and it took me the Hive console. So okay, so actually it gives some other logs also, but I don't know why this change it did not give. So I just wondering it started. So I don't know. So I just ran a dummy one. So let's try to root it. So I'll create a table doc. And I have to point it to some file in the SDFS file system. Okay, let me figure out some file.
We can take the same file which we
Yeah,
used for word count.
yeah, I'm going to the uh, so text. No, practically now 1 minute. Mm, sorry.
It was in map reduce, right?
No, no, just
Better than
isn't method. I'll open the UI better. So,
yeah, this is a much better interface.
there's not text file over here. Okay, I'll create a new one. Yeah, it will take not more than a minute. So, so I'll create a new text file over here. And we'll just put something in this file. Okay, and save. And we'll use this as our location. So practically when you are defining a table, you define your table on directory, not on direct file. Because there could be a lot of files in a table. So
No, but what field delimiter you gave?
Slash in back new line.
New line is a record delimiter, right?
Yeah, that's a recording. So
But what about field delimiter?
don't worry, we'll do again. Um, the table velocity. That's what I wanted to check. What table velocity of file का तो नहीं हुई. That is the thing. I gave if not exist, so that was just that did not really created the table because that table was already existing, and where it was pointing, that file is now not existing in SDFS now. That is the thing which I wanted to check.
No, that table is created where?
Table is not created. We have just created a metadata. So there's nothing but just a metadata on top of that file.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened?
No, I think like when you do the select star from doc, why it's okay.
Sorry?
Select start from doc, the output is okay.
No, but I did not print it anything here. What?
The last
File terminated by location, site location. I guess some users. There's no file over here. What happened? I created a file where I created. It was not saved or what?
Yeah.
I think file was not saved. Or something.
You said edit, but I don't think you saved it.
Yeah, I think I did not save it.
no, the may not be the contents may not be there, but the dummy.txt should be there, right?
No, I don't know what happened. Now it's there.
Mm.
So see the details there. Okay. So now we want to do that same word count program.
No, hold on. You said select star, right?
Yeah, I just said select the start. So each row is your new line in the file. Nothing else. So our table is nothing but I have only one column that is text string, and each new line is a row in my file. So I did. Don't worry about these complexities. Don't worry about these row format delimiter. We will talk about all these complexities in some time. We will look at each and everything in some time.
Okay.
So, but I just wanted to tell you how easier it is to do the thing which we are doing in Java.
Mm.
Yeah, so again, don't worry about this later review, explode everything. Don't worry about the complexity of all these things. But just in 2 lines, now see it created my MapReduce program. I just written one file to define the metadata on top of that file, and second line is to find out the words in the file, and it will print all the words in the file. So what is row format delimiter and all those things I'll explain in some time.
Mm.
And where is the output location?
Right now I did a select star, so it will be dumped on the screen. So it will take a little time. I don't know, my PC also looks like it's a little slow. You see the words and the corresponding count, words and the corresponding counts. So different words and their corresponding counts.
Yeah.
And what we did is just 2 lines of the code.
Yeah,
So what
code
is
is
this?
much better.
And these are the select and the table is there. We have just defined the metadata on top of that file and everything's there for us. So let's look at all this. So we'll look at all these things. So don't worry about this. So it supports not only your primitive data types like int, boolean, doubles, big int, floats kind of thing, but it also supports complex data types like structs, maps, and arrays. I hope you understand what is struct, map, and array. So
Maps, I don't know.
map is key and value pair.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So you can create tables like I just created a table. So like I just created a table over here. So table is analogous to your tables into your relational world. So
Where does it write the metadata for the table
and that is
definition?
stored in H catalog. So if you look over here, this is H catalog guy. So this stores all the metadata which can be accessed by other programs also. So with the help of pig also you can access the metadata which is defined. So all the tables would be visible over here too. And I can look in the Hive console also. So table, if I have to browse the table, I have to look at hcatalog also. But if I want to run the Hive commands, I can directly run from here also.
Oh, H catalog.
Yeah.
But that again is in form of a file.
That is again in form of a file. No, hcatalog is a separate project of Apache, which is now merged with Hive, which helps you to maintain your metadata, which we are defining for creation of different tables and things like that.
Yeah, but it will be still stored under
अच्छा नहीं नहीं
HDFS,
नहीं
right?
नहीं 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 यार वो actually ना these different programs use different things like Hive for something it use MySQL at the backend. Uzi use Derby at the backend. So these different programs use different things at the backend to manage their stuff, their things.
So that means if I install Hive, automatically MySQL database also gets installed.
So I am not the correct person to answer that, but yes, that uses MySQL, that I'm sure. But will that be automatically installed? That normally admin will take care. So when I do, I just do it a single click, install everything. So that install everything. So that we used Ambari. I did not show you Ambari, right?
No, not yet. But
Okay.
no, I'm trying to understand where is it storing the table definition.
Table definition. So right for this thing, it's going to MySQL. That I'm sure. Somewhere in MySQL, if I am not wrong, but
So there is MySQL running on that VM.
on this VM, yes, MySQL is running.
Okay. Means in the sense, if I have to store, means if I have to install Hive as a part of,
So see,
as a part of.
there's a database by name of Hive. Use Hive show tables. Uzi uses Derby. So see all this because now hcatalog is merged with Hive. So this is by the name of Hive only, and the different bucketing keys, partition level information is stored over here. Queues, table, column, stats, tabs, a lot of things are stored over here.
No. I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to understand where the metadata gets stored. That's all.
So most of the things are stored over here, but there could be some other places which hcatalog might be doing. But most of the things are stored over here.
Oh, okay.
It shows the tables in Hive, like, but the doc table which we created is not here.
which document? The right now which we
The
created. वो बन गई होगी यहाँ पे बन गई होगी कौन से मैंने डिफॉल्ट में बनाई थी ये
okay.
That will be under, there is that tables, right? There is a
yeah
table
so I
called
have to select the
tables.
database so
It will be in
previously I
that.
was selected the DP design pathshala database but that I created in default database because I did not use any database prior creating it so this is
Yeah.
it. So I'll show you the Mari UI. Recall me in the next class. Otherwise, we will degrade from what? Sorry, we will
Yeah,
deviate
that's
from. We'll deviate. So I'll show you the Mari UI, which is used to administer the whole cluster. There are a lot of other things which are running now. So
let's go with Hive. Huh?
yeah.
Okay.
So how to create a table? You give your different columns in the file. So the columns can be simple type like string, float, and can be of complex type like array, map, and structs. So when you create a matter, okay, before that you can give a comment. So comment is nothing but a simple comment. What is this table all about? Partition by, we'll look at some time. Let's look at row format delimited and other things. So row format delimited will tell you how to read this data which is stored in this file. So that basically tells you what are separator for different things. So right now control was this Unicode character 001, 002, 003. These are the default one which are used by Hive. You can definitely change them by changing something to something else over here. But right now the example we are showing you are the default one which are supported by Hive. So this is nothing but control A, this is nothing but control B, and this is nothing but control C. And lines I'm saying, so each row is terminated by slash n. So what I'm saying is fields terminated by control A. So all these fields, names and salary are separated by control A. The salary and subordinate is separated by control A. Subordinate and deductions are separated by control A, and so on in the file. Collection items are terminated by control B. And similarly, map keys and value pairs are separated by control C. So there is a data at the backend which will be there, which I am trying to read by this table definition right now. So here you can see you have your name, control A salary, sorry, name, control A salary, then control A your subordinates. So subordinate is an array, and what I'm saying is collections are terminated by control B. So if there's more than one value in this array, those will be separated by control B. So Mary Smith and Todd Jones are the subordinates of this Jordo. So both of them are separated by control B, and there's a new column starting, so that is separated by control A, and then there would be and similarly for map, so map keys and values are separated by control C as I have defined over here. So map keys and values, so the map is of type deductions, so there are different deductions on his or her salary. So the first deduction of federal taxes adds to values 0.2, and the collection items separated by control B. So this is a new entry in the maps, state taxes 0.5, and so on, and then it's starting ending over here, and when the whole record is ending, those are separated by slash n, which are right now missing over here, so there will be slash n kind of thing over here. So this is how your data is lying at the back end. I just defined the metadata on top of my data, and now I can just query this table by select star and things like that.
Question. You have written a stored as text file, right? Now, if it was say sequence file format, you would have said stored as sequence file.
थोड़ा सा चेंज हो जाएगा, but yeah, somewhat similar.
Oh,
हल्का
okay.
चेंज हो जाएगा. I'll show you. हल्का चेंज हो जाएगा. I just have to tell the reader, and that's all. I will automatically read it for you. You don't have to write a single line of code.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
Or your data could have been something like this. Save data. But in JSON, I have to just use over here a JSON reader. That's all. This line will change. These lines will not be there because I don't want them, these lines in that case. Only a JSON reader, and I can read the same data in a different format.
Mm.
So okay, so let's look at some of the basics, and then we'll look at those things also. So similarity or relational world. So I'll go a little faster over here because I'll assume all of these things are college related stuff. Now what I'll be discussing in next few slides. So I'll go a little fast, but wherever you want me to go slow, do let me know. How to create a database, create database, database name, create database if not exist, the database not existing. So this thing, show databases will show you all the databases created. Show database like will print the database like this. The default location where databases are created is at this location into SDFS. Again, this property is configurable, which you can set at you can set this property, and this will change the location of your default databases. But if you want to create a database at some other location, you can just give this location. So whenever you will create a table in this in this database, a new directory will be created at this location // your table name, and all your files related to table will be stored in that directory.
So I can never have my Hive metadata or database related stuff in HDFS. It has to be on local file system.
नहीं नहीं ये SDFS के पास है. This is SDFS path only.
Oh, it is HDFS. So Hive can read HDFS files also. Can I store it outside HDFS?
नहीं नहीं Hive is nothing. Hive is just a transparent engine on top of a MapReduce. So backend में MapReduce को trigger कर रहा है. So data SDFS से ही पड़ेगा.
Even the Hive का this thing. Hive's all metadata, everything is in.
Metadata separate. वो तो process manager है. वो that is a project related thing कि वो अपना कैसे maintain कर रहा है. But for you, it's an engine who's creating a MapReduce code for you and processing the data which is lying into SDFS for you.
No, I'm confused here. Because when you are creating a database, it is creating really in MySQL, right?
No. It's not creating anything in MySQL. It's all on your. It's basically it's a metadata which is how it is storing the metadata. That's up to him. So MySQL में store करना है उनको project file change करके वो Derby में store करते हैं वो परसों project change करके text file में रखते हैं. It's all up to them. For me as a user, I am creating a database. Let me show you. So let me exit out of my. Forget there's something called MySQL. That is internal to the Hive project. I've opened Hive somewhere. So here I say show databases. This will show me the databases which I have created. So this is a metadata which is maintained somewhere. Where it's maintained, I am not worried about that part. Although that is maintained.
No. But is this information being, if MySQL was down right now, it would have still given this output?
Of course not, because probably Hive चल ही नहीं पाएगा ना. Hive will not be able to start. आपकी एप्लीकेशन अगर डेटा कहीं स्टोर कर रही है वो वहां से लोड नहीं कर पाई तो चल नहीं पाएगा. बट दैट इज जस्ट द मेटा डेटा. योर रियल डेटा इज लाइंग इनटू SDFS only which you want to process.
Yeah. No. I understand that. I understand that your text file is sitting there.
Yeah. If your real data is sitting in SDFS only. So
yeah, but what you are saying, DB location.
So see, this database design pathshala is created at this location. So वो search window है. So this is the location where this database is created.
So you have to create your files under that. whenever you create text files?
So practically this is a database only. When I say create table, so I say use dp create table xyz, say t and that's so. See, directory is created. Now if I insert something, that those will be automatically inserted, or if I want to put it manually, I can just put the files over here and it will read it for me.
I'll have to go through this again myself because I'm getting a bit confused, because we created a text file, right? And that we said you create a
So we
table
created a
using
text
that.
file. Yeah. So this practically क्या होगा? आपके पास data आएगा and you will be creating a metadata on top of that, right?
Correct.
So what I said is my data is lying at this location. So instead of this thing, what I gave over here is location. So in that case, all the database lying at this location, but my table which is belonging to the database is pointing to some external directory. Also, that is very much possible. So
Okay.
my
Okay.
data might be lying over here only. So I gave him this guy कि मेरी यहाँ पे file लाई पड़ी है and create the table at this location. So that anything inside this directory would be read by this table. So Hive is nothing, is just trying to maintain your metadata and is creating a MapReduce code when you have to process that data.
So by default, the file will be created under that directory which you are giving, but you
Yeah,
can always refer to something
yes.
lying somewhere else in
Practically, you will
network.
always be referring to somewhere else only.
Okay. 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 Now I get it. Okay.
But I think at that time I ran some wrong command and all the example which I was told over there are deleted. All the files tables which were there are deleted. Okay, we'll create them again. Entrance. Okay. So you can give comments to the this thing while creating the database. You can drop the database, drop databases exist, and describe extended. I just did a describe that show me the location of the database. And okay, so this the location, how, where is your, or if you have to look at something, so you can set all these parameters like set, and so this is one thing. So this will show me the value of this thing. So right now it's false. So similarly, all there's a lot of parameters which are there for Hive. All of these parameters you can look by just giving set. If you just say set, it will show you all the parameters. If you show set and some particular parameter, it will show you the value of that particular parameter, unknown. And if I have to change the parameter, all I can say is set and the parameter name and the value which I want to set. Set this is equals to true instead of false. So previously it was false. So now it's showing me the database name also. So these are there are a lot of different parameters which you can directly set it over here. And so similarly, there is one parameter which tells you what will be the default location of a database. If you want to change it, you can definitely change it. So the parameter name is hive metastore warehouse.dir. So if I say set, so it shows me this is the default location right now, which is configured.
Okay, one question, the value that we set here, right? So if we just get like go log out and like we
नहीं
come
वो
back again,
सेशन
so that
सेशन
value,
सेशन इसी सेशन में
okay, session variable. Okay.
But every time it will read from your Hive configuration, hive.conv file, hive.conv.xml जो पड़ता है initial values, you can change it for the session. So we just seen table creation. There is another table which I am creating over here. So Here are some extra features, like we are giving comments to each column also, and we are creating maps. We are giving comment to a table also. We are giving some table properties also. We are giving pointing this table to a location. So this table would be reading the data from this location. Although this table might be lying in my design pathshala database, but this table will pointing to this location. So all the data from this location will be read by this metadata. So show tables will show you all the tables. All the tables, show tables in MyDB, in the database, show tables like this thing. Describe table, describe extended will show you a lot of other parameters like extended. So see, it's shown you the table. The table the columns in the table partition on some columns. So on which column it's partitioned on trade date, and a lot of other features or parameters about the table, like table name, database, owner, created time, last access, and some interesting things. So now you can see input format used to read this data, output format to dump this data, the location of this table, and a lot of other things. So in sequence file, it will just change this input format class, how to read this data. It will just store it in metadata, and rest everything nothing will change for you. So I'll show you how to read the sequence files and create them.
Okay.
So describe extended, show tables. So there are two kind of tables over here. So as this will again resolve your doubt which you just asked 5-10 minutes back. So there are two kind of tables. One is called managed tables or internal table, and one is called external tables. So managed tables or internal tables are the tables which are managed by Hive, and external tables are the tables which are not managed by Hive. By not managed, what I mean to say is there's only one difference between these things is the metadata will be managed by Hive only, but the data is not managed by Hive. So if you create an external table, you will always be pointing it to some location. Okay, so and if you are creating an internal table, you will not be pointing it to a location, or you might point it to a location, but in that case, if you drop an internal table, the data is managed by Hive only. So if you drop an internal table, the data will also be deleted. But if you drop an external table, your data would not be deleted. So the major difference between internal and external table is if you drop an internal table, your data is deleted because Hive is maintaining that table. If you drop an external table, your data will not be deleted. It's just the metadata which is deleted for you. But whenever you are creating an external table, so the table you have to give the location to which directory this table is pointing to. So I said create external table explicitly over here, and I set the location where it's pointing to. So if I drop this table, the data in this directory will not be deleted.
Okay.
But
One.
yeah, go ahead.
If on the internal tables, if I explicitly mention the location,
Then also the data would be deleted.
okay.
And when you say location, you are giving the directory, right?
Directory.
Not the file.
No,
Not the file name.
practically you never give file name as the location because practically I assume there's a lot of files. So like similar to MapReduce input. Yeah, MapReduce input you always give the directory, right? So same with the
So it will
MapReduce.
take all the files. It will take all the files from the
Yes,
directory.
in the directory, yes.
Okay. Okay.
All the files and
Yeah,
subdirectories.
this is very similar to external tables in Oracle.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is a major difference. Basically, now when you are creating an external table or pointing it to some location, it's your responsibility that your data should be in the structure what you're defining for it. So even if this file contains only two columns, one is 1, comma 2, something like this, 2, comma 3, and if you have defined the metadata like this, I will not give you an error. I will just maintain the metadata. When you are doing a select, at that time it can give an error. It can't convert it to say string or things like that, or it will print null. So it's your requirement. It's up to you that define a proper metadata and maintain the file. And later on tomorrow you change this file and add one more column. Again metadata will, and if you have not changed the metadata, I will not give you an error. But when you are really dealing with the data, or when you are really running the Hive query on that data, then it will give you an error, because that time the MapReduce code will run and will try to process your data. So it's your responsibility basically to maintain to ensure that the data is lying in the corresponding format, Hive compatible format. So I can just say create external table. If not exist, the table name like some other table location. So this will create a table similar to this table, and this table will be pointing to this directory. Okay, partitioning. So the data check. Strangely, how my database, everything is deleted. I did not drop the database. I don't know, I did something wrong. So we'll do the partitioning for some data. So but I have to put some data. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I have to import some data again. All the data is deleted. So this is the same thing I've already also shared with you. The data directory is there. So if you go to the data directory, the different data which I'm using in the different class is again there. So you can just put this data directory to your SDFS. So I have the same data directory lying over here. So all the data is related. So what I'll do is I'll just quickly open the WinSCP and we'll just connect it to Unix word and then put the data. So, and here I'll just create some, oh, data is already there. So data is already lying over there. So I'll copy it directly from there. So, oh,
Here you are copying the data from local file system to
local
SDFS,
to
right?
SDFS, yes. So, yeah. So there were a lot of tables which are created on these things. So all the directories are copied. Okay. So, okay. So partition basically, is so let's say my table is pointing to directory X. Inside the directory X, I might partition my data into different subdirectories, so that querying your data becomes very fast, because at a time you might be considering one partition similar to your Oracle. So it's up to you what partition column you want to use, and basically partition your data based on that. So you can have n number of partitioning. So in this example, I'm showing you there's a table called employees. The data is partitioned first on country and then partition inside country. Each country is partitioned on the state also. So when I have to run a query like select a star from employees where country is CA and state is AB, rather than traversing this 1 terabytes of the data, I am just traversing few GBs of the data. So my queries will run very fast. This is the default structure of the directory name, which I will make for you. You can definitely change it, but I request you not to change it. Otherwise, you have to do a lot of changes every time you are running the queries. So this is a default name which I will give to your directory. That is column name equals to its value. That is the partition value. So you can understand how fast your queries will become if you use partitioning. So if I have to do so,
You need to first show the data and then you do.
yeah, that's good. So there are a few examples. Let's try to run it. So this is an example, nothing but here I'm creating an external table at this location. So I'll come to the partition example. Before that, let me show you a few other examples which are lying over here. So here there's some data lying at this location. Stocks data. So this is a file. So this file is comma separated. So if I have to create an external table on top of this, so I just given the column names which would be there. Row format delimited by fields delimited by comma, and by default the rows are delimited by slash n. So I have not given that. That is the by default, and the location is this. So I've created an external table. So if I create this table and drop this table, that file will not be deleted. So
Hey, Niraj, I have one question.
yeah.
Let's take on this location. I have two files. One is comma separated and one is, let's say, files delimited.
You have to ensure the files are on the same structure. You can't create something like that.
Okay.
Aren't we really with Hive trying to force RDBMS structure?
No. You are not forcing RDBMS structure. If you are using JSON, you can just define the JSON reader as input format, and you can read that in a SQL format. If your data in some XYZ format like Avro, that is totally different. So another way to run a hive command is one way is to go to the Hive console. Another way is if you want to give the whole file to run it, you can just say hive -f and the file name. So this will trigger your file to the Hive console. So if I
very similar to MongoDB.
हाँ वो सब जगह MySQL में भी same command चलती है PHP भी है वो सब it's all similar. The interface they always try to make it similar so that there is no learning curve.
Yeah. But I agree, this is way better than writing MapReduce.
Yeah, definitely. But now you understand the thing, so you can easily understand what is happening over here.
Yeah. Are there still instances where you have to go through MapReduce and cannot write through Hive and
Pig is again pig pig is much more robust than Hive for unstructured data.
Oh, okay.
So,
We'll know.
but still, in some particular scenarios, that's not to say 90 to 95% of the code is still written Pig and Hive only for us, and different projects. So if I now go to look at this table, select start from stocks. So see, and if I say drop table stocks, the file is still lying over here. File is still lying over here. Okay, so let's look at this internal table. So here I'm creating an internal table and like stocks. So what I said is create table stocks internal like stocks.
But first you'll have to create that stock.
The stock I just dropped it. Okay, leave it. But so
you can run the create external table and then run that.
begin. So
File तो है ना वहाँ, so you can just
So if I create a table like this and drop it, basically the data would be deleted. That's all what I want to show you. Now, if you want to do basically insert, so the table is created as stocks internal, and I insert the data into this table. So I'm inserting the data into this table. I'm selecting from stocks and inserting into stocks internal. So insert into table stocks internal. So let me start from stocks. So now it has really done a MapReduce code, because now I have to read something and I have to write something. So, and if I drop this table, the data would be deleted. So this is how you will be practically creating your ETL. So your data got first time in the raw format. You will be reading the data, doing some processing on the data, and in the new file, new table will be storing the data in sequence files. And then you are doing some other filtering on the data, and the third table will be storing your data in the overall format. And that will be your base. Yeah.
Miraj, I think you have moved away from the mic.
Okay. So what I'm saying, this is how you will be creating your data for data pipelines. First, your raw data is coming up. You are doing some. So here I just did a select star, but you might be doing some filtering on the data, and the stock internal table might be of type Avro. So your data would be inserted into stock internal would be of type Avro. And you might be doing some again ETL on that data, and you will be storing it to third table, which might be of type ORC and compressed, and that might be your base data, which you might be referring for different. So this is how you'll be practically creating your different file formats and the compression and other thing. By default, you will be getting the data in the raw format only.
Yep.
Okay. And so this table would have been created stocks internal this directory. And this will be created inside the database only, stocks internal, and it was like that thing, so that's the reason it's a comma separated. And now if I drop this table, this directory will be deleted. So if I say, it will give me an error. The directory does not exist. Okay. Cat. Okay. So now I have to partition the data. So now let's say on the same data, which was there. On the same data, I want to partition this data on the trade date. So practically you will be getting the data like this only. Now you can't do it manually. So what you can do is, I have created a table, new table stocks partition, and what I'll do is, before that, if there's something lying in this table, let me drop it or delete it. Stocks partition. So let me just delete it. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a new table stock partition. I'm saying this table is partitioned by trade date, and the trade date is not in the column. So if you are partitioning it something, it goes away from the column. And I just create a table called trade date. And what I'll do is, I'll just insert the data into this table. So what I do is, I'm just selecting from the stocks table and inserting the data into this partition table. So So now Hive will automatically partition my data. I will create all those columns for each unique trade date, and my data is partitioned. So this is how you will be practically trying to manage your data, and will do all the ETL kind of data, ETL kind of stuff on your data. And the final copy of your golden data or your base data, that will be exported to your business users or your different analytical tools.
Now tell me one thing.
Uh-huh.
Tell me one thing. You created the table and you defined the partition key, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partition by.
Mm-hmm.
Then while inserting again, why you have to tell the partition key?
While inserting, I have to tell कि इस टेबल के सेलेक्ट में कौन सा टेबल है जिसको मेरे को पार्टीशन करना है. उनका दोनों का नाम ट्रेड डेट है, बट इसमें इसका नाम हो सकता है टीबी होता है, टीडी होता है, और इसमें ट्रेड डेट होता. तो इट कैन नॉट फिगर आउट ना. वो मैं बता रहा हूँ कि इस टेबल के सेलेक्ट में से कौन सा पे अभी मुझे पार्टीशन करके इस टेबल में इंसर्ट करना है.
Oh, so this partition trade date in the insert is from stocks table.
Yes, so based on this column of the stocks table, I have to partition it.
But yeah, means the trend date in that highlighted, what you highlighted is actually from stocks table.
Is actually from a stocks table, yes. That is the column name from
Not
the stocks
from
table.
stocks partition table.
That is the column name
But
from the stocks table.
But why you have to give that? Because the format of stocks table and stocks partition table has to be same, right?
No, why? It's let's say my stocks table is has 5, 10, 20 columns, and here I am selecting 5, and out of that one column is a partition by key, and in this table only 5 columns are there.
Can you just open both the tables once?
So right now they are matching, but when you insert, shouldn't the source be same as when you say select as?
नहीं, but stocks table जो है
स्टॉक और इसका फॉर्मेट सेम चाहिए ना.
नहीं, सेम नहीं चाहिए ना. अभी इसका सेम है, बट अभी इसमें मैंने यहाँ पे टेबल बनाई होती समथिंग लाइक दिस, ओनली 2.
So it will match on column names, or how would it match?
It will match on the column names definitely, but okay, this is my table, partition by. Now there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Now how will you do? So now you have to do select.
But then you cannot say select star. You have to say select column name.
Particular column names definitely. And this trade date I have given trade date again over there, but I would have given it as TD. So वो उसको बताना पड़ेगा ना. ये तो यहाँ पे सेम है, but practically as a program you have to tell him.
Okay. All right. Understood.
So that data would be partitioned now, and if you look at so there are different columns created, so different directories created, and each directory is having value only for given trade date, and the trade date is now not there in the data. So previously trade date was there as the last column in this stocks table. So practically this is how you will be partitioning. You won't be writing a manual program to do all these things, creating different file formats or partitioning and or zipping it or compressing it. Everything you will be doing as a part of your ETL process. Basically,
but you said if you partition, then that column will no more be their part of the data.
Then that column will no more be part of the data. That is just the a folder name which will describe the column value.
Oh, okay.
And this is how we are reducing the file size also.
Yeah.
Because unnecessarily the same thing is repeating at all the rows.
I understand.
Okay. So there are a lot of other things, but I think we'll not be able to cover them all today. So I'll show you that
Let's
every example is also there.
yeah, let's actually continue on
Yeah, so these
next
are two lines.
Tuesday,
You have
right?
to just give it, and Evro will be read it for you. So we'll continue in the next class. That would be on your
Next
next
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Your Wednesday morning. Perfect.
Hey, Miraj, like, please share the presentations. So,
Yeah, presentation. As soon as I'm completing the things, I'll keep on copying it over there. I think yesterday I did not copy it, so I'll copy that part also, and the one which I discussed today also. And I'll put this I1 also so that you can read it in your
yeah.
evening. Okay.
Okay,
All right. Hey, have a good weekend, both of you.
Same to
you
you.
too.
Yeah. Nice one. This was
Okay.
nice. Nice
Sure.
tip.
Thank you.
Because this was something we use.
Yes.
This is
Okay.
something which I can understand better without knowing Java.
हाँ ये actually but अभी तक वो समझ में नहीं आता जब तक if you would not have understood the MapReduce concept. That's why I
No,
keep
no,
on
no, no.
saying.
I agree. I agree. I
इसलिए
agree.
मैं
And
इसलिए
I
इसको
will
बोल
do.
रहा हूँ keep just patient for 2-3 classes then everything would be easier for you.
Yeah. No, no. Understood. I think you're right. It becomes clearer how it is actually working in the background.
Otherwise हाइव चलाना तो कुछ नहीं मैं को मशीन उठाओ and हाइव की कमांड लिखो एक्सेलरेटर स्टार्ट करना चालू कर दो. But जब तक समझ में नहीं आएगा बैकएंड में क्या हो रहा है you can't do the things.
Correct, correct, correct. So you will also next 1 or 2 days you will see if that edition 4 you can
Fourth
find the PDF.
edition. हाँ कहीं तो पढ़ा था मेरे पास देखता मैं कहाँ पढ़ा हुआ है कहीं तो पढ़ा था मेरे पास.
हाँ मिला तो upload कर दो. Means then we will not have to worry about क्या difference है 3 or 4 में. We will read 4 only because I
हाँ मुझे
intend
भी
to
नहीं
read
पता.
the.
हाँ मुझे भी नहीं पता
Hmm?
उसमें क्या उन्होंने क्या क्या नया डाला है. आई ऑल्सो डोंट नो बट फ्यू टॉपिक्स नए डाले हैं वो मैंने देखा था बस इंडेक्स में
All
बाकी
right.
उन्होंने क्या चीजें मुझे नहीं पता मैंने भी नहीं देखी उसको.
Yeah, that's fine. All right.
ठीक है.
Thanks.
Okay.
See
Thanks
you.
both of you. Yeah.
Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Yeah. Bye.